boys and girls, students of Buddhist Sunday school and Dhamma classes, parents and grandparents, teachers of Buddhist Sunday school and Dhamma classes. Good morning. May you all be well, happy, and peaceful. Now we are going to have another story from Aesop's Fables. I've given many Aesop's Fables before, but this is a new one and is titled The Careless Tiger is an Aesop's Fable for kids. And you know, a fable is not a true story. It may be regarded as a legend or mythological story, but Aesop's fables are very famous because they teach very good moral lessons, life lessons, how to learn important morals so that we can lead peaceful lives. So this story is titled The Careless Tiger. The presentation has the text in English and Malay, but the narration will be in English. The explanation and comments also in English. So that is the presentation. Now, before we start the PowerPoint, let me check the setup to ensure that it is okay. All right, so that is the setup. All right, it's browsed by individual. So now let us launch the PowerPoint. You see the cover slide, a very colorful one. And you can see the animals which are involved in this particular Aesop's story, right? This is a san kanchiu, you know, right? A san kanchiu, or what we call a mouse deer. And this is the monkey, of course, you know, and this is the tiger, very, very fierce wild tiger. So let us look at the story, and then at the end of the story, we will have a very important slide where we discuss some important Dhamma or life lessons or moral lessons. So that is the first slide. Now let us go to the story. Once there was a wealthy man who owned a large herd of cattle. He hired a monkey to look after them. So this very rich person, he owned a number of cows. So, you know, he would have a place where the cows could stay in the barn. And then instead of employing a man, he employed a monkey. And that is Aesop's fable. And it was a very smart monkey. This monkey knew how to look after the cows. And the monkey used to take the cattle, the cows, to the forest every day and bring them back home safely. So that was one of his duties, very important duty to, you know, he could control the herd of cows, you know, one cow will follow after another. So he will sort of lead them to the forest area. And in the forest area, you could see fields where you have grass. The cows feed on grass, isn't it? They graze on the grass, the green grass. You can see this picture here. You have greenery, right? Grass. That is the cows. That is the little monkey that was a smart one, you see. Now, let us go on to the slide number 3. Now, during one time of the year, so the monkey would take the cows to feed or graze on the grass every day, and then later on to bring back after a few hours. There was one occasion, sometime in the year, when something happened. And during that time, the fields were filled with the green paddy, actually also with grass. And the monkey actually took the cattle, the cows, to the forest area there, and then nearby there was this field where you would find a lot of green grass where the cows love to feed or graze on. And then, you know, they would spend some time. And the monkey had other jobs also, you know. And it was from there he brought the milk, butter, and cheese, you know. They did not explain, the story did not explain how all this was done. That means the monkey could milk the cow to collect, and then could even stir and all those things to convert the milk into butter and cheese, because butter and cheese also come from the milk. So he could do all these things. So he spent some time doing all this. But during that time of the year, it just so happened that there was something in the forest that put the cattle in a very frightening situation. Right. So these animals are very sensitive to danger. Right. So the animals could sense there was something in the forest and their lives were threatened, in danger. So that was the start of that incident. So let us see what happens. But before that, you have a look at the pictures. Now see the cows happily grazing, feeding on the grass, right? And here also just shows the cows grazing on the fields. And then the monkeys are after getting the milk from the cows, milking, and then turning some into butter and then cheese. Then he would bring, well, I was wondering how he could carry all those things. You can also use a magician. Maybe he called some other monkey friends to help to carry, but that's not important. It's just that these things were brought to the owner, to the rich man, right? So let's see what is next. Now, the next slide, which is slide number 4 now. Number 4. I want you to read the English and the Malay first, and then after that, I will go over and comment. So, let's continue the story. There was a cunning, very cunning, can trick people, right? Can trap people, and so on. Cunning usually is not a good trait. You say this is a cunning person, and you think of him as one who likes to lie and cheat. So there was this cunning tiger which lived nearby in the forest. And I told you the field was nearby, you see. So the tiger was very ferocious. Ferocious means very fierce. Very, very fierce. Then you can see the picture. Very, very fierce one. So one day, when the cattle were grazing, the cattle were feeding on the grass, the monkey caught the scent of the tiger. The monkey could smell the scent, the smell of the tiger from the nearby forest. So he knew it was very dangerous, because if the tiger were to come out, and then he would kill some of the cows. So then he got all these cows together and safely herded them back to the home. Back to the home. Because he could smell the tiger, isn't it? And actually, because of the presence of the tiger, the cattle were always very fearful, constant fear. They had this very fearful feeling. So that was this situation. Now let us go on to slide number 5. Right. So then maybe the following day or so like that, right? So the tiger went to another place, right? He did not attack this time. But then the cows are very tense, and high-strung, They were quite afraid because they knew inside them there was this tiger nearby. So what happened? This made the cows very tense and high-strung. That means very anxious, very fearful also. So these sort of things make them weak, too weak, and they could not give a lot of milk. No, they could only give a little milk only. So one day, the owner of the cattle noticed that the milk, the cheese, and the butter getting lesser and lesser. So one day, the owner of the cattle called the monkey, the boss called the worker, the monkey, the worker. Why are you bringing such a small quantity of milk, butter, and cheese? Then the monkey replied, Sir, cows need to be calm and contented to give much milk. Oh, very, very smart monkey. He could reply. So to have more milk, they must be calm, contented, happy, not frightened, not anxious. So he explained. You can't blame him, isn't it? Very smart monkey. So now let us look at slide number 6 now. Now, slide number 6. The monkey explained to the owner. He said, due to a lurking tiger, your cows are always afraid and tense, so they give less milk. Of course, this is a very interesting picture to show that actually this tiger can attack people also. Then, I see, the owner said, can we find a hunter who can kill the tiger? Sir, the tiger has already killed hunters, the monkey said. You can see a tiger killing a hunter. This one is a animated clip. So the monkey explained. Because the owner asked, can we find a hunter who can kill the tiger? He said, sir, the tiger has already killed hunters, the monkey said. Highly ferocious, yeah? The owner commented. And very cunning too, the monkey said. Why do you say that? The owner asked. Now, the monkey very smart, I could reply very smartly. So the monkey explained because the hunters also were killed, so they would not be able to really trap down or kill the tiger. They will kill them. They will be killed by the tiger. So then the owner said, wow, very fierce type of tiger. And then the monkey said, very cunning too. Cunning means, as I told you, cannot be trusted. Can lie, can cheat. Not good, actually. Cunning, smart, but used in the wrong way. No morals one. Then the owner asked, why do you say that? Fierce and also very cunning. Why do you say that? So the monkey replied. So this is now slide number 7. So the monkey explained, since the owner asked. He said, a friend of mine, a swan, helped him, when he was sick by giving him food. But when he recovered, he called the swan and made a dinner of her. What does it mean? Now here you can see a swan. A swan can fly. It's similar to a goose. Beautiful bird. So it will probably, fetch some food for the sick tiger and so on. Simple food, probably. He could not catch an animal, isn't it? So he looked after the tiger, right? So the tiger recovered. Then when he recovered, he called, maybe they have a way of communicating. He called the swan. So when the swan came, the swan did not expect. You know what he did? He killed the swan. Make a dinner of her, means kill the swan and then ate the swan as dinner for himself, the tiger. How cruel, the owner said. So anytime my cattle are at risk, the owner said, wow, terrible, cunning, very cunning and cruel. So that means the cattle all at risk, very dangerous, isn't it? Then the monkey said, so if you permit me, I have an idea to kill the king. If you allow me to tell you my idea, I have an idea I can kill the tiger so that the cattle will not be in danger. That was what the monkey told the owner. Now here you can see the pictures illustrating what I have said, right? The swan flying to the sheep tiger, and then after the tiger recovered already, wow, he called the swan, and then he killed the swan, and then ate the swan for his dinner. That's so cruel and cunning. No gratitude that the swan helped the tiger when he was sick, isn't it? And that's what happens in the world today also. So many people, even though they are helped, but they are not grateful, The Buddha talked about that also. That's not good. Right? Being grateful is very important. So we find here in the animal world an ungrateful tiger, just as we have ungrateful human beings. So now let us go on to the next one. Tell me, the owner said. Because the monkey said that he got an idea, isn't he? He got an idea, he could help. Then there was what Sir, the monkey went on, there happens to be a variety of deer living in the forest. They are called mini deer because they are so small. Even the adults only grow up to be about 1 foot tall. The tiger has become very friendly with a certain mini deer. We can capture the tiger's friend and rub poison all over her body. Then we can wait maybe for a couple of days before releasing her. She will be like a bait to trap the tiger. Very smart monkey, got a plan, So this monkey told the owner that there was this species, variety. Actually, the word variety probably not so suitable. Got it from the internet. It could be it would be better. There happens to be a species of deer. Actually, they are very, very small. And in Malay, we have the Sangkanchil story, right? That is the type of deer, very, very small size. And actually, the term correct one is mouse deer. But in the story, they refer it as mini deer. Mini deer means very small, right? Because they are so small. Even though they have grown up to be adults, right? Only about 1 foot tall only, very small. I think you are familiar with the stories of Sangkanchil. Many interesting stories. Some of them in Malay. So one day, maybe if I can get hold of some good Sangkanchil stories, I can tell you the stories and then learn some moral lessons from there also. And the monkey explained that this tiger became a very good friend of one particular mini deer. Because maybe very cute. This female mini deer so became the friend. And then the tiger would not eat this mini deer, no. He would play with it, right? And he was treated like a good friend. So the monkey could observe all these things in the forest, Very, very smart. Of course, monkey can climb to the trees and then observe things, right? Then he suggested this. Now we can capture the tiger's friend. That means the mini deer. And then we rub the poison all over her body, Poisonous. Poison. And then we wait for the poison to dry. And then after that, release her back into the forest. So you'll be a bait now. A bait, a trap. So the tiger wouldn't know, isn't it? Dry already. Then when the tiger, comes to play with the small mini deer, and then something can happen and the tiger can be trapped. That was the plan. So let's see and go on to slide number 9. Excellent idea, the owner said. My cows will be at peace and will be able to give their usual meal. They will be safe and happy again. But who can bring the mini deer? It's quite true. Good idea. But then how to bring the mini deer to the place and then to have the poison rubbed or smeared over the body? The monkey explained also. The monkey explained, I can lure the mini deer with grass and bring her here. Oh, very smart, huh? This monkey got all the plan layout ready. And the monkey knew also what type of grass that the deer like to eat, the deer like to eat. So he told the plan about he told the plan. So of course the owner was very happy, very happy with the idea. So the plan was approved. And so following the plan, the day came when the monkey managed to lure. The lure means to attract and then cause the mini deer to follow the monkey lah. Just like the picture you can see lah. At first, the owner did not know what to do. The monkey was smarter than him. So then the monkey lured the mini deer to the owner's place. To the owner's place. So now let us see, can the plan succeed? Can the cattle be saved from the danger of the tiger? And what will happen? So let us go on to the next slide. So this is now slide number 10 now. So the owner, of course the deer was brought to the place already. So what did the owner do? The owner smeared the body of the mini deer with poison. Right? So he could buy that type of poison which was liquid, smear it, and then let it dry. But the story says that it's only a day only. It doesn't matter if it's a day or 2 days. It's ready, the thing dry already. The liquid poison dry in the body already. So then what happened? So they brought the mini deer and left it in the forest because they knew that the tiger would find this special friend, mini deer, good friend. So they went back already. The owner and the monkey went back. Then it was not long when the monkey saw his favorite mini deer back. He could recognize. He was so overjoyed, And then he threw all the caution to the winds. This is a very interesting expression. To throw all caution to the winds means you were not careful anymore, not hitful anymore, right? Never think more already, right? Just do according to your feelings and impulse. That means no longer careful and cautious and hitful. That's the meaning. You forgot about all the danger, whatever could be dangerous. You never thought about that. He didn't even sniff the air around her, without even sniffing the air around her. Of course, this tiger went to approach the deer and the deer, sometimes they're playful just rolling on the grass like that, So then the tiger play with it, right? Use the paw to touch, and then use the tongue to lick the body all over, Just as sometimes you see cats, they lick the legs or body parts of the owner. The pet is a pet. They like to do that, right? So the tiger, also same family as the cat, so started to lick the body of the mini deer. But the body of the mini deer was smeared with poison, even though the poison was dry already. But now, with the licking, the saliva, everything, the tiger would be getting in the poison into his mouth and then his body. So now the interesting question is, what happened then? So let us now go on to the next slide. Because of too much joy and too little caution, he fell into the poisonous trap. And the tiger died on the spot. This is something we learn very important. Sometimes we are so very happy, So very joyful. And then, for example, so certain children go to the zoo or go to Disneyland or theme parks. Wow, so excited, so joyful, happy. They forgot all about the safety rules, right? They forget all about the very important steps you have to take in order not to have accidents. That was what happened. He could not even smell already. They're so taken. Wow, so nice. My friend is back. Lick, 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 lick. So lick the poison into his mouth, his mouth. Yeah, very effective poison. So the tiger died on the spot. So maybe not long later, the owner and the monkey went to the forest to see again any sign or not. Wow, the owner was very happy when he saw the dead body of the tiger. So they had succeeded. Uh, so the owner was very happy and very thankful to the monkey. So he he told the monkey, they were still in the forest area. So he said, "You are very, very clever. You." As I say, the owner was very happy and he appreciated the clever monkey. "You have saved all my cattle from the tiger," the happy owner told the monkey. And actually, he rewarded also the monkey, maybe gave the monkey better food and so on. Of course, he wouldn't give the monkey payment of money, isn't it? Right? So he gave the monkey maybe a new place to stay and then very good food. All this rewards, right? So so when he expressed his thanks to this very clever monkey, the clever monkey just smiled and said, what did the monkey say? "The cunning will fall into cunningly conceived traps." Wow, this is a very good statement. So you see, this cunning tiger fell into that very smart trap, isn't it? It was a well thought out plan, a cunning trap. So because they're cunning, so we have to use a cunning trap, the cunning way. They could not just bring the hunters because the hunters also wouldn't want. And then if they had wanted, they would demand a lot of money and their lives would be in danger also, isn't it? That was a very good plan. So the problem was solved. So the problem was solved. So from then on, what happened? From then on already, the monkey could take the cattle to the forest. And all the cattle could graze safely and happily in the forest. Right? So you can see that very interesting story. Now, of course, as far as the Malay version is concerned, you can read on your own. Or maybe I let you some time to read this particular paragraph in Malay. Right? Okay, so I hope you have read the Malay version. The Malay version was done using Google Translate. So generally quite good, but there might be some mistakes or inaccuracies. So I did some editing, right? Like say like throwing caution to the wind. So it's an expression. So they translate literally, they bring in angin and all those things. That is not correct translation. It just means that they forgot about the safety steps and the steps they should take in order to be safe. That's the meaning, you see, right? So other than that, generally quite good because we have quite a number of people who may be following in Indonesia. Indonesia, have tagged Indonesian Buddhist Society, Young Buddhists of Indonesia. So many thousands. So maybe a few might be reading, so they are more comfortable with Malay, right? Because Bahasa Indonesia and Malay, they are very close. Okay, let us now go on to the final slide, which is the most important slide. We come to this important slide that is pertaining to life lessons to learn. Now, you can call it Dharma, you can call it life lessons or moral lessons, right? Life lessons are a good term, which means lessons which are very important to enable you to live a happy, peaceful, and meaningful life. And this, unfortunately, is not emphasized in our educational system. What you learn mostly will be, maths, history, geography, all those subjects where you study and get all the information knowledge and then go for exams and score A's. Well, that one plays a small role, but very important life lessons. So that later on when you come out in life, then you know what are the things that will enable you to live more happily, peacefully, and safely. So we need to have these sort of things. So that's why I'm doing a lot of postings on these live lessons. So you can say Dhamma, because if you learn and understand and practice the Dhamma, the results are fantastic. You'll be able to live more peacefully, more happily, more wisely, and then you can solve your problems much better. Your mind is better. You can think things out better. You can think more clearly and creatively. A lot of benefits by learning, understanding, practicing the many great teachings of Dhamma, right? So this also has Dhamma in them. So let us now look at 3 important life lessons, or you can say Dhamma teachings. Pelajaran hidup untuk dipelajari. So let us look at the first one. Be careful and heedful in whatever you do. Yes, whatever we do, we must think with wisdom. Heedful means to be very careful also, to be cautious, to think carefully before doing something that can endanger your life and cause accidents. Now, I have taught many years in the association, and I remember in this Saturday Dhamma class, right, many years ago, right. So we used to bring a bus load of these students from 1, from 2 until from 4, from 5 for excursion and trips. There was one trip we went to Penang and we stayed in one of the Chinese temples, and then they will visit various places. And I remember this very interesting occasion where a person does not follow important safety principles. They are not heedful, not careful. He was a nice boy, right? So, the time along Gurney Drive, so you will have like an embankment or something like not a very high wall, low sitting wall, sitting bench, a row of it, right? And then when you look down, some feet deep there, that will be the beach, right? Which means that the sea and the beach are lower than the road in Gurney Drive. So he's sitting there. I told all of them, I said, be careful, you cannot just fall down and you might hurt yourself, even though it was not very deep inside, that means the road was not that high up compared to that, right? But, there are rocks and stones and things like that. So one of the evenings, I remember, so don't know what happened. These kids were playing around or what. So one of the students' shoes, one of the pair of shoes, so somehow they dropped into the beach, fell down, right, a few feet down. So there was this boy, he never thought carefully one. Immediately he jumped down. He jumped down and want to go and take the shoe for the friend. He had a good heart, but then no wisdom. He could hurt himself. He should actually report to us, and we will use, there are steps where you can go down slowly like that. But luckily nothing happened to him. If he has jumped down and there were rocks at it. So this is not being heedful. So young people sometimes are very rash. They don't think of the consequences. That's why you have all those terrible rampant riders. They cause so much harm, accidents. They are not heedful, not careful. They just recklessly, just to have the thrill, not thinking wisely, thinking about others. So whatever you do, you have to be very, very careful to always think before you act. But unfortunately, many people act and then only regret. Well, act and then only think. Right? So heedfulness is a very important thing. To take heed, to pay attention, right, to certain things before doing the things. To consider, ponder it, and be careful. All these are covered by the term heedfulness. To be cautious, careful, pay attention to it, consider it, ponder over it, all this. Otherwise, accidents will happen. So the mind has to be trained. And one of the things in Dhamma learning is mindfulness. And then also to teach you how to think wisely. We have various teachings which are very beneficial. And they can also help you in your studies and later on in your work. So, sad to say that today, you may have, students who are very, very smart, can get all the A's, but lacking in wisdom. And not only lacking in wisdom, lacking in other qualities like virtues and compassion. Some are very, very selfish, right? They will not come to volunteer for any help. Whatever they can gain for themselves, they would. But that is not good. You always follow the very important principle, do good, good will come to you. Do bad, bad will come to you. It's a universal truth. All religions teach that. But then, unfortunately, these children grow up in the environment that doesn't teach this. Family also not much of teaching along this line. And then school also, of course, they have Pendidikan moral, but it's not really successful because they take the subject as a subject to score another A. I taught 2 years, I think, in one of the schools for Form 3 students. And I found that it was not really, they have to memorize certain values and so on and warm it out. And then you find that it's not really actualized, all the good things that you have to do, virtues, everything all mentioned in the books. Because during a political moral test, you have to give tests also because the marks have to be sent and all the stuff, just like any other subject. So they're copying in the political moral test. It's a political moral. Yet copying in the test. So what does it mean? I remember the time when we were in primary school, even until secondary school and Form 6, we never had subjects like this moral when you go for exams. We don't have that. But we have what we call the moral science. Every morning, half an hour. I have very good teachers. They will teach the moral science and they will tell a lot of good stories. So from there, we pick up the values and they are in us already, right? In us, tanam already. No exam, no test. But then these values, tanam in all of us, I can see this happening to my friends also. They are very helpful, not selfish, polite, responsible, right? And then they just don't think of themselves and they will follow traffic rules. All these things, why? Inculcated. So values are not just, learn as knowledge only and not really actualized in your heart and mind. That's why today you see, you have people throwing rubbish into a place where it's stated that jangan buang sampah di sini. RM500 denda. And you see the person throwing all the rubbish until, wow, that place becomes a huge rubbish dump and you attract germs and all those things and cause diseases. They know it's not correct. Why they're doing it? Because they have not developed those virtues in the heart. They might have gone through the political morals. These people, 30 over years, 40 years, I think many years already, the education system like that. So if you follow our Dhamma lessons in the Sunday school or good presentations, then we hope that you change, because then only you can be successful and happy. You won't get into trouble. But today we are very educated ones that are involved in scams, cheat you, YMDB scandal, so many other scandals are cheating people's money. Not proper, correct way of earning money. And you cause suffering to other people. They may escape, but time will come, you can end up in jail. And not only that, when you pass away, because of the terrible moral breach, you end up in a woeful state. So this is an important point. And you see, when we know the moral rules, in this case here, of course, the tiger was not careful. But I think we talk about Dhamma, right? Then you see that very important, we have to be very heedful and careful not to break the moral precepts. Like for example, you have learned that we must observe the 5 precepts, right? Repeated many times. No killing, no stealing or taking what is not given to you. No sexual misconduct, no lying, no backbiting or slander, talk bad about other people or carry tales and cause people to quarrel. And then also no using of harsh speech and bad words and all those things. And no gossiping. You know all those things. You know all those things, but the thing is, do we try our best to follow them? So that's where we have to be heedful, to be mindful also, to be heedful, careful. Before you do an act, consider whether the act is right or wrong. Does it break the precept? So you have to be careful on that, isn't it? So that is this first Dhamma teaching, which is a very important point. Now let's look at the second one. To be distracted by the objects of the senses can lead you to suffering. The first one is illustrated by the story very well, you see. You see, the tiger was not careful, was not heedful also. And if you had been careful, then you knew, something not very right. The smell of the body is so strange. I better be careful. I better don't go and lick it up. No, you're not careful. You're so happy or everything already, not heedful. So, of course, that is the story, right? But we also stretch this point into our life in order to live more peacefully, happily, that we have to be careful before we do a certain thing. As I give you one simple example, many other examples, they are not careful. And in fact, you find many accidents happen not because God made it or because of your bad karma. That's because you were not careful. You were not heedful. You're not careful. People tell you certain things you don't follow. You go and play the thunderstorm football. And then you catch the cold and all this. And then you say, oh, it's my bad karma. It's not that. It's actually you are not very careful. You don't heed people. You don't follow people's wise advice. So that is the first Dhamma teaching. The second one is a very important and it can be repeated at a very high level. I make it very simple for you. To be distracted by the objects of the senses. Now, what are the objects of the senses? The object of the senses, we have actually 6 senses. But you study in biology, 5 senses. In terms of Buddhism or Dhamma, we have 6 senses. The eye and the seeing, right? The eyes, you see the form, you see the objects, right? And then you have the ear, you hear the sound, isn't it? That is your sense organ, ear. And then you have this hearing of a sound. You must have a sound, otherwise you cannot hear. Then you have your nose. Then your nose can smell something that has odor or smell. You see. Then you have your tongue, right? Then you taste the food, sour, sweet, bitter, right? So you have salty. So you have the taste, you see. And then also you have your skin. You touch something hot, you feel it, or something cold, or something very nice. Wow, you sleep on the water bed, so nice, so you get attached to it. Or you want a massage chair, wow, everything. So you are having the sense of touch. And then the last one is the mind. The mind you can think. Something of some, right? Something good thoughts of metta and so on. So these are the various objects of your 6 senses. Now, if you are led astray, right? Of course, sometimes you have to think the right way. You're distracted. Like for example, you pass a place, you have you see at the side. I remember there was this sort of thing happened also. So you find sometimes a Chinese festival, they have the platforms and the singers are very scantily dressed, mini what they call it, mini shorts, and then bikini, all this like that. So they're dancing everything. So you are a cyclist or you are a motorcyclist passing by and you are distracted by the object of seeing, right? Isn't it? You're distracted, right? So you look, you pay attention, everything, you get caught by it, you're lured to it, then you meet with an accident. You drive into the drain. That happens also. And then hearing also, right? So you find that you are studying, and then you are distracted by sounds, and then you put on the TV, and then you get distracted. And then also the mind can be affected adversely when you hear all the nonsense things. Or rumors, or people are speaking in anger, and all those things. And nose also, distracted. Wow, so nice perfume, right? Distracted already. You get attached to it already. And then you spend so much money buying all the expensive perfumes, right? And then you taste. Wow, you're distracted by the taste. Some people, when they study also, they want to eat all the junk food. So distracted by the taste. Wow, very nice. Wow. So how can you study effectively? And some spend so much money because they are distracted and they are lured by the food that tastes very good to them. It's not that you can't eat this. You can eat it, enjoy it after it goes and so on. So you must not go to the Lampao station. And then also touch, right? So you want to, maybe decorate yourself with all the fantastic powder or perfume or don't know whatever chemicals you put distracted by the touch, the touch. You want to feel good then you want water bathe you want a fantastic massage chair So all these things are distracting you and then making you greedy also. So you have to be careful. And then the last one, the sixth sense, your mind. Your mind, if start to think all those things which are unwholesome, in a sense they are rooted in greed, hatred, delusion. You think, I want to steal the mangoes from my neighbor's place. Very nice to eat. That is a greedy thought, unwholesome thought. So you are distracted from going into the right direction. So you follow the wrong direction, then you breach a precept. You break a precept. So the mind is very, very powerful, you see. So you have to always be careful, right? The wrong, unwholesome thoughts that come to the mind, you must kill them off or chase them away, eradicate them. Whereas the good ones, welcome them, make them develop. So that is Dhamma practice. So if you don't do that, you're distracted or led astray. You can say to be led astray. There's another way I should have put that. To be led astray by the objects of senses. Then you suffer. Like people so distracted by durian already, let's say, and then led astray. Eat and eat non-stop until you get terrible stomach ache. Many examples you can give. All right. So this is very good Dhamma teaching. The Buddha warned already. Beware of the objects, the six sense bases. Of course, we have to use them also, you see, that we read books. There is seeing good objects, reading Dhamma and so on. Or maybe even you want to watch a useful movie. There's nothing wrong with that. It's that you use it foolishly. You get distracted. Like, first of all, many people don't do well in their exams because the methods of study are lousy. Not because they are not smart or what. They can work hard also, but stupid methods of studying. They get so easily distracted by the objects of the senses, right? So, they're distracted by the smartphone, the pictures, everything. So while they're going to study, so you lose the interest in the study. You're more attracted to what is in the smartphone, isn't it? You get distracted by what you hear, right? You say, wow, outside, very, very good music and so on the TV. Wow, you're distracted, so you don't want to study. You go and listen to the outside thing. So, and then, wow, you smell, wow, so nice smell of the curry your mother cooking outside and so on. So if you don't check it, and go back to, let's say, you're studying, then you find you will lead to negative results. You every time get distracted, go to the fridge and then take the food, and then spend so much time being distracted with the food, tasting one, smelling one, everything. So how effective is your study? Well, you lack the concentration, you lack the mindfulness. And then the negative thing comes. So what is the negative thing? You do lousily in your exam, maybe even fail, and then you have dukkha. So who is to be blamed? So likewise for all the other sense bases. So if you're not careful, you use them wrongly, foolishly, then eventually they will lead to suffering. That is a very important point. Now let us go to the third one. Be mindful always of your thoughts, speech, and action. That is very, very important. Now, being mindful, actually the word mindful means that you know, that you pay attention to, you're aware of it. Not like, mindless, careless. For example, let's say you are crossing the road and you're not paying attention. Maybe you're chatting with a friend and so on. You didn't realize that there's an oncoming vehicle. And nowadays, the vehicle speed, they move very fast. So you cross the road, you get knocked down. Even if you don't cross the road, I've heard of so many cases, they are walking and they are not being mindful, not paying attention to what they are doing. That you are walking, then you have to be careful, watch your steps and so on. But they are thinking of something, or some chit-chatting away everything, or some are worse still. I've seen, even Einstein cannot do that. A person riding a motorbike, and then looking at the handphone, or the SMS message. Wow, trying to do two things at one time. So how can you be mindful of the surroundings? You're riding what is ahead and so on. So accidents happen. A person walking along the road, also trying to read the SMS message or to see a video clip, TikTok. And then what happens? They realize that there's a hole in the realize that. So he walk into the hole and then sprain the ankle, sprain the foot and so on. And then others say, yeah, this is my bad karma. It's not your bad karma, that you are not mindful. You're not careful. You are not paying attention to what you are doing. So this is a very important thing, right? In Dhamma teaching, and actually is applicable for all people. That what we think also, we have to be very careful. Like thoughts of anger coming, right? So if you are not careful and what to do, wow, I'm very, very angry with this person because 1 week ago, the person talked bad about me and so on. Just like this joke, remember? This boy came back, then there was a complaint. The mother asked him, hey, I heard a complaint, why do you slap John? Why do you slap John today? Right? Then he said, I slapped John. I slapped John because of what he said 1 week ago. And the mother said, 1 week ago he said, and now today you slap him because he said I look like a hippopotamus, a hippo lah. I didn't know what a hippo looks like until today only. Oh, that means he's insulting my look. That's a joke, right? So you have to be careful that what comes in the mind, you have to note it. Unwholesome thoughts of greed, of anger, of pride. Remember, there's a saying, pride goes before a fall. If you watch in your mind that the thoughts are thoughts of ego, then you have to be careful already. Discard those things. Once you are mindful and pay attention, they will go off already. So first thing. The second thing is what you speak. Some people simply blurt out without thinking and then cause trouble. Not only to themselves, they can bring hurt to themselves also. You go and say something like this, right? People can wall up you, isn't it? So you have to be mindful of what you speak. Before you speak, what you are thinking, And as you speak, you also know what you are speaking and what words you are using. You have to know. So, many people, you will be surprised, very simple, basic moral principle, but they don't realize it. Yeah. Why? because they have the bad habits already. Right? So I taught students from 5 early morning outside the lab, they will shout all the bad words. Terrible speech. Using bad words. Rough speech. They could scold the mother's anatomical part. I cannot say that, all those bad words. And they talk all those very bad words. So you have this habit already. So one day, right? So let's say you are in a company, right? And then you forget that you are interacting with other managers or colleagues and so on. And because of a habit, you shout out those bad words. You can imagine the consequence. What impression people will have on you. People may even shout at you back and scold you back, isn't it? So you are not mindful. Because of early bad habits, but it can be changed. Even you have wrong habits and the bad habits and so on. But if you make a determination, a strong will, and then say, I will not do it again. So you train the mind always to be watching what you think, what you speak, and what you do. Right? Some people, have terrible habits. They go to the office, right? So they just, without telling a person, just mindlessly take the scissors or take the cellophane tape without anybody knowing. Why? You're not mindful, you don't think, you don't have wisdom, and then other people are looking for it high and low. So common that of thing. And then there are people there, you know very well the actions, as I said just now. You have a notice, don't throw rubbish, $500 fine, and the person will throw it. So you're not mindful of action, and not only mindfulness, but there must be some reflection, wisdom to think about it, that it will cause harm to other people, and then I might get into trouble also. All these things that people lack. So they think about what? They think about K-pop. Not to say you can watch K-pop now. I'm not trying to be sarcastic or cynical. I'm just trying to help you to develop into a very, very good person, right? With good morals, good habits, and then good characteristics. And then you'll be successful and peaceful, and you will not get into trouble, and your life will be more smooth and peaceful. And not only in this life, also future lives. Because they are involving moral principles also, and involving wisdom, consideration for others. And in fact, mindfulness is one of the factors in the Noble Eightfold Path. The most important part for us to walk is the Noble Eightfold Path in order to be enlightened, to be free from all suffering. One of it is right mindfulness, to be mindful, to know of what is happening in the body, right? Some people are very careless. What is happening in the body, you still don't know. And then to be mindful of any feelings. Wow, you find the feeling of jealousy coming already. Then you have to check it. Otherwise, it can lead on to other terrible things, isn't it? So be mindful of feelings. And then to be mindful of all those things that happen in the mind. Right? The thoughts, your emotions, your thinking, and so on. And then very important also, we must know about the Dhamma. And then to be mindful of following the Dhamma teachings. So you find that this is also a very, very important Dhamma lesson that we have to know and practice. But the thing is, of course, you might say, it's not really directly related to the story because the story involved the animals, you see. But I've stretched it because I want also to have some Dhamma lessons and not just story only, right? But then the first two are in a way related. Tiger was not careful and hit bull. The tiger was distracted by the sight of the mini deer, the good friend, right? So very nice when lick the person. That one is related. But actually, all three have very important Dhamma teachings. So I hope you can realize this, and then you are leading a peaceful, happy, worthy life, wise living. So we are coming to almost 1 hour already for this presentation based on the story, right, of the careless tiger. Right. Now, before we say sadhu 3 times, I would like to thank all you boys and girls, the students of Buddhist Sunday School and Dhamma classes, and the parents and grandparents who are guiding the young ones in moral values, virtues, Dhamma, and so on. And also, of course, to all the teachers of Buddhist Sunday School Dhamma classes. Thank you and sadhu to all of you for taking time to follow this presentation. You have spent time as well as expended your energy to follow with concentration and mindfulness. So I say sadhu to all of you and thank you. Now let us fold our palms together and say sadhu 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. May all of you be well, happy, peaceful, and may you follow the Dhamma teachings as best as you can. Take care.